What's up everyone and welcome. In this episode we are going to talk about the critical print shell affecting Hewlett-Packard printers. This flaw allows attackers to execute code remotely to do all sorts of nasty stuff. So let's see what we can learn from this story.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could pinch them.
Printers are usually connected to business networks and potentially forgotten when it comes to security, so they could easily provide an avenue of attack. Highlighting this issue is the Print Nightmare, or CVE-2021-39238, which was a Windows print spooler service vulnerability that permitted attackers to escalate privileges to system level, which was patched in August. In addition, Hewlett-Packard patched a separate 16-year-old privilege escalation driver flaw in July. Now, cybersecurity researchers from F-Secure have discovered two critical vulnerabilities collectively tracked as Printing Shellz that impact approximately 150 multifunction printer models. The research team said that their tests involve the HP MFP M725Z. However, the vulnerabilities dating back to 2013 impact an estimated 150 products. These include models in the HP LaserJet Enterprise, HP LaserJet Enterprise, HP PageWide, HP OfficeJet Enterprise Color, and HP ScanJet Enterprise 8500 FN1 document capture workstation ranges. The vulnerabilities can be exploited by attackers to take control of vulnerable devices and steal sensitive information from enterprise networks. The issues date back to 2013, and HP fixed them in November. The company acknowledged F-Secure Labs researchers Timo, Hirvonen, and Alexander Bolshev for reporting the vulnerabilities on April 29, 2021. Okay, so do we panic? No, of course not. We're watching this episode to learn how to spot the problem and see what we need to do to fix it. So if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and smash the bell to be notified when I upload new episodes where I give you insights into the newest important cybersecurity news stories like this one. With my insights, you can be better prepared to protect your company, your family, and yourself against these and other cyber attacks. So hit that subscribe button now and let's continue learning about this issue together. So the two vulnerabilities are CVE-2021-39237 with a CVSS score of 7.1, which is an information disclosure vulnerability impacting certain HP LaserJet, HP LaserJet Managed, HP PageWide, and HP PageWide Managed printers. Then there's CVE-2021-39238 with a CVSS score of 9.3 out of 10, which is a buffer overflow vulnerability impacting certain HP Enterprise LaserJet, HP LaserJet Managed, HP Enterprise PageWide, and HP PageWide Managed products. We found multiple exploitable bugs in an HP multifunction printer. The flaws are in the unit's communications board and font parser, reads the FAQ published by F-Secure researchers. An attacker can exploit them to gain code execution rights, with the former requiring physical access, while the latter can be accomplished remotely. So the CVSS score vulnerability with a 9.3 can be accomplished remotely. A successful attack will allow an adversary to achieve various objectives, including stealing information or using the compromised machine as a beachhead for future attacks against an organization. Threat actors can exploit both flaws locally via physical access to the vulnerable device, for example by printing from USB drives. Another attack scenario sees attackers printing from another piece or device in the same network segment. In this case, the threat actor uses an exploit that replicates itself to other vulnerable MFPs across the network, so a worm. Below are the attack scenarios detailed by the researchers. These scenarios are a blueprint for what we need to be on the lookout for so that we can protect our printers, our network, and all valuable data from our company or our home for that matter. So, printing from a USB drive. Now this is what was used during the research. In modern firmware versions, printing from USB is disabled by default, so this would need to be manually activated by your admin, which then opens up your printers for this type of attack. Social engineering a user into printing a malicious document. It may be possible to embed an exploit for the font parsing vulnerabilities in, say, a PDF. The opportunities for social engineering are endless. HR printing a CV before a job interview, or a receptionist printing a boarding pass, etc. Printing by connecting directly to the physical LAN port of the printer. Printing from another device that is under the attacker's control and in the same network segment. This also implies that the respective flaw CVE-2021-39238 is wormable, i.e. the exploit can be used to create a worm that replicates itself to other vulnerable MFPs across the network. Then you have cross-site printing, which is sending the exploit to the printer directly from the browser by tricking a user into visiting a malicious website, for example, using an HTTP post to JET direct port 9100 with TCP. This is probably the most attractive attack vector because you could use phishing attacks to then have the person who receives that email or message go to the link, and it automatically sends the job to their printer and then exploits it and gives the attacker access. Lastly, we have the direct attack via the exposed UART ports that are mentioned in the CVE-2021-39237, which requires physical access. Again, if the attacker has physical access to the device for a short period of time, they can just transfer it over the UART ports, and boom, the machine is infected. So, what can we learn from this? Bottom line, don't forget about your printer. While we often are focused on attackers exploiting applications like Microsoft Exchange Server or some framework in our inside of our code, the good old faithful printer can lead to the same devastating results that any of those other attack vectors can. So it's essentially just like a printer. It can be attacked, it can be hacked, it can be taken advantage of. So make sure you update your firmware, your drivers, and any other software related to your printers, and include your networked printers into your entire system architecture maintenance, your planning, and your threat modeling, all of those cybersecurity specifications to make sure that your network stays clean. With that, I say thanks again for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe if you haven't already, and smash the bell if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.